A players love to learn and grow and be challenged. So you can't expect to have A players if you keep them in a stagnant role where they're never getting to be challenged. So create challenges, create those opportunities for advancement.
You work hard in your business. On the Profit by Design podcast, we ask the big question. What has your business done for you lately? Hi, I'm Dr. Sabrina Starling. I'm the business psychologist, the author of the 4-Week Vacation and the How to Hire the Best series, as well as the founder of Tap the Potential, where we coach entrepreneurs like you to design sustainably profitable businesses that give you more time for what matters most and more money in your bank account than ever. Because after all, we believe work supports life, not the other way around. Weekly on the Profit by Design podcast, we bring you tips, tools, and strategies from our own experiences and from the experiences of our guests who are entrepreneurial thought leaders and real life entrepreneurs, all to support you in making intentionally profitable and sustainable business decisions to live the lifestyle you desire.
Profit Designers, the 4-Week Vacation, the entrepreneur's ultimate guide to taking your life back from your business is now available. Go to 4weekvacation.com, grab a copy of the book, and be sure to follow the steps there to claim your bonuses. When you purchase the book, you are eligible to join me for my upcoming live training, the 4-Week Vacation, Better Business, Better Life Jumpstart. Plus, and you'll also get an invitation to an exclusive VIP closed door training with me to identify the true profit potential within your business. Just follow the steps at 4weekvacation.com, and I hope that the 4-Week Vacation book inspires you for what's possible. It's time to take your life back from your business. The other day, I was in a conversation with a business owner. His name is Bill. He's given me permission to share this story with you. Bill's experiencing a revolving door of entry-level employees in his business, and maybe you can relate. He says that he's replacing team members on an ongoing basis, and it's a challenge because it keeps him working in the field rather than working on his business to improve it. So I asked Bill, tell me about your best employee. And his face lit up as he described Jim. Jim's been with him for almost 2 years. Jim shows up every day with a good attitude. He speaks easily with the customers, and he addresses problems that come up in the field. However, Bill told me Jim is on his way out of the business too. And when I asked why, Bill replied that Jim likes challenges and he wants a job with opportunities for promotion. And Bill said, I just can't offer that. My next question to him was, if you have a plan of advancement for Jim, do you think he would stay? And Bill told me, he said, he might, but I'm not sure. I asked Bill when he last had a one-to-one meeting with Jim. And Bill said, although they talk daily, they haven't had a focused meeting in months. He went on to explain that making time for meetings feels nearly impossible with all the work that's backed up. Can you relate to Bill here? Many owners that I talk to find themselves in this situation. There's so many problems and challenges needing your attention that addressing team development falls by the wayside, and you're likely spending significantly more time addressing issues created by your worst team members than developing your best team members. Unfortunately, what we focus on grows. So when we put our attention and effort on dealing with problems and challenges and dealing with our worst employees, we just get more of that. So we need to shift our intention and attention and put intention on developing and retaining our best team members. And a very powerful place to start is by scheduling a short weekly one-to-one meeting with your best team members. And then during this time, check in with them, ask them questions such as, what are you working on this week? And what support do you need from me? Use this time to learn about them. Ask about their wins and successes, both at work and in their personal lives. over time, you'll discover more and more about what matters most to them and what they value. And then you'll have the opportunity to look for ways to align their personal goals and interests with the achievement of your vision for the business. During this time, you also want to be looking to discover what their strengths are and identify opportunities for your team members to use their strengths in their work. At Tap the Potential, we offer the People Map Assessment, and a lot of our clients use both the People Map Assessment and the Clifton Strengths in combination to really understand valuable insight about how team members communicate and how they can show up and add value, what their unique contributions are to the team. These one-to-one meetings are also an opportunity for you to identify opportunities for advancement to support your team members. It's an opportunity for you to set career goals with them and show them how they can enhance their training and continue to grow through their involvement with your company and even beyond. And so when you do this kind of work with your best team members, you have to let go of the fear of losing them. If you become an employer of choice for the A players that you want to attract to your team, and you develop that reputation as a company that supports learning and growth of its team members when they're with you and beyond, you will find it easier and easier to attract A players to your business. So you don't have to fear that, wow, if I develop my best employees, I may end up losing them someday. Yes, you might, and that's a good thing. And it'll be much easier to replace them because you've invested that time and you have that reputation as an employer who's willing to do that. A players love to learn and grow and be challenged. So you can't expect to have A players if you keep them in a stagnant role where they're never getting to be challenged. So create challenges, create those opportunities for advancement. And you may be saying, well, I don't even know what they would be doing beyond the entry-level work that they do in the field. Well, start by taking a look at all that you are doing. What might you take off your plate that could become an opportunity for advancement for your best team members? So, for example, Bill counts on Jim to support him in training new team members. And I asked Bill, what might it free up for you if Jim took more responsibility for training the new team members? Would it excite Jim to own this responsibility? And would it entice Jim to stay if he had a clear plan for advancement? Retaining and developing your best team members is one of the best investments that you can make in your business. So let's talk a little bit here about why retention matters. Right now, there's a lot of talk in the country about the Great Resignation. And what's interesting about the Great Resignation is that, yes, there are a lot of employees resigning from jobs. But what's interesting is that those employers who have a reputation as being a great place to work and who have a good culture in their business are having a lot less difficulty recruiting and hiring A players than those businesses that haven't put attention on developing their culture. And so you may be saying, well, I'm a small business owner, Dr. Sabrina. There's just a handful of us around here. I don't know that we really have a culture. And yes, you have a culture. You've heard me talk time and again on the podcast about your immutable laws. Your immutable laws, your core values, are the seeds of the culture in your business. And so when you put intention on team development and developing your culture, you're much more likely to attract A players and retain your existing A players. So let's talk about what makes a great boss. People management skills are hands down the number one ingredient in being a great boss. How well you coach, how you communicate, how trustworthy and reliable you are goes a long way towards creating an environment that feels safe and supported for your team members. If you're taking the time to listen and giving your team members your focused attention, they're going to feel that you care about them. And so this is one of the main reasons you want to be doing these one-to-ones, because if you're not doing a one-to-one meeting, you're probably having a lot of communication with your employees, but it's happening on the fly. And you're probably distracted. You've got your cell phone in your hand. You're getting interrupted constantly. And so your team members, especially your best team members, aren't getting your focused attention. Listening with focused attention is one of the greatest gifts we can give another human being. So when you block time on your calendar with that employee and you say, this is our time together, you have my full attention, I'm turning off my phone and I'm here to listen to you, find out what you need so that you feel you're doing a good job and that you have the opportunity to do the best possible job with us. Your employees will greatly appreciate that. Also, take the time to clarify for each of your team members what's expected of them at work. Clearly define for each role the results you're looking for. In the How to Hire the Best book, I give you some questions to help you with this. And one of the most powerful questions to help you with this is to consider that if your team member could only get one thing done in a given day or a given week, what's the most important thing that you would want them to do? And what's the result of that thing? What makes that so important? What result are you looking for? Let your team member know that's the most important result. And it's even more powerful if you can tie it to how that makes the business more profitable and how it relates to the sweet spot of the business. And you've heard me say, put attention on getting team members working from their strengths. Well, once you identify the most important result for the role that your team member is in, a follow-up question is to think through what strengths are needed to deliver this result exceptionally well day in and day out. So, for example, if you're hiring for a receptionist in a busy doctor's office, you would want somebody who is very good with people, who's got an upbeat attitude, who enjoys and gets energy from interacting with people day in and day out. And they're really good with details because there's a lot of details involved in scheduling appointments, passing along messages, making sure that information gets where it needs to be. Data entry sometimes goes along with that role. So somebody who has strong people skills and who is very detail oriented. So, and here you're also looking for somebody who gets their energy from interacting with a lot of people. And that would be an extrovert versus someone who's an introvert who may be great in one-to-one or small group conversations, but their batteries get drained over time with too much interaction with various people. So what about existing employees? And maybe they're doing multiple tasks for you. They have multiple responsibilities. And if you're thinking about aligning their role with their strengths, some very important conversations to have with them are to ask them what parts of their job are really fun and exciting and give them energy, and what parts of their job drain their energy. And what's going on when they go home and they feel drained at the end of the day? What have they been doing at work that has led to that feeling? On the other side, ask them on the days that you go home and you're excited and energized and the day just flew by, what were you doing? So the things that energize us point to our strengths. Those things that drain our batteries point to the areas that are not our strengths. So you want to just start looking at what can you take off your best team member's plate that's draining their batteries. And another thing to pay attention to here is what are they consistently procrastinating on, doing at the last minute, or even getting turned in behind a deadline. So if they're excelling in other areas, but they have these one or two things that they do that is just a constant drag for them that they're procrastinating on, that also points to something that's not a strength for them. And you want to be very careful about this because your A players they're intrinsically motivated. They want to succeed. They want to please you. And so if you ask them to do different things, they're going to say yes to almost anything that you ask them to do because that's how they're wired. But that also means that over time, things can get piled on them, especially if they've been picking up slack. If you've been short-staffed and they've been picking up slack for other team members, they may have things that they're doing that are not their strengths, and it's okay to do that for a little while, for a few weeks. But if that goes on and on and on, and you're not checking in with them and looking for a plan to get those things off their plate, you're going to burn them out over time. And burnout is a real concern in businesses right now who have lots of A players on the team, but you have open positions and it's taking you longer to get them filled. So your A players are filling the gaps. So you want to make sure that situation isn't going on for months and months and months. So be having these one-to-one conversations with your team members and asking them about their feelings. Are they feeling burnt out? Is their energy and enthusiasm the same as it was when they started the job? And if it's not, have conversations to discover what opportunities there are to shift things around. Even making it clear to your team members that they shouldn't be taking work home at night, helping them set clear boundaries about when they leave work, their phone gets turned off and they're not obligated to respond to messages. We all need to have that downtime. And if you don't check in with your A players about this, they'll be the very ones who will just burn themselves out and their morale will start to go down over time in the business. Team development activities go a long way towards helping maintain morale, keep morale up, and keep people, your team members, you want to get them to be connected with one another. There's interesting research that shows that people will stay on the job longer because they have a friend at work, even if they have a poor supervisor. I'm not suggesting that you become a bad boss and rely on your team members making friends with one another and staying. But what I am saying is if you are putting intention on developing your own leadership and spending time to get to know your team members and what they need and how you can support them and set them up for success, and you add team development activities into the mix, now you're really doing some amazing things to work on your culture. So team development does not have to be expensive or even time-consuming. You can set and accomplish stretch goals together as a team from quarter to quarter, and then every week celebrate the small steps, those wins that are getting you closer and closer toward that goal as a team. This gets your team to rally together around something, and then when you achieve that goal, a lot of times there's a push at the end of the quarter to make that goal happen, especially if you're really close. That's a lot of team development that's going on right there. And this sense of team members supporting one another and looking for opportunities to help, that is what goes into creating a culture where people feel safe and supported and connected. That happens through having team goals that everyone on the team works toward together. And it also is important if you've taken the time to define each person's roles and the results that are expected from the roles. When you have team goals, team members get to see how each of their contributions moves the whole team forward toward the goal. And then you can celebrate when the goal is achieved. You can do something as simple as a pizza party for everyone, or maybe there's an afternoon at Top Golf or some other fun activity that the team gets to do because the goal has been reached. And another part of developing your team is creating mutually invested relationships. So what that looks like is you as the business owner having a vision for the business and knowing where you're headed, and you share it with your team. And then you, in those one-to-ones, are taking time to get to know what's important to your team members, what their personal goals are. And you can look for opportunities to show them that how the achievement of the company's vision and their efforts toward that will pay off for them and support them in achieving their personal goals. And so that's how you get these mutually invested relationships going. And that's where, for your team member, work is no longer about a paycheck. There's a clear purpose. They're involved in something greater than themselves that they are using their strengths to contribute to. And we are happier when we're working from our strengths. So when a team member is working in a business and it feels like, hey, we're all in this together, we're working toward this big vision, And I know about my fellow team members' hopes and dreams and goals, and we are all looking out for each other and looking for ways to support one another in achieving our hopes, dreams, and goals. At that point, it's no longer about if they're going to get an opportunity to work and make a few dollars an hour more somewhere else. They will not be tempted to leave by a little bit more pay because it feels good where they're going to work. And that is the most important for A players. They want to work somewhere where they feel valued and they feel like they are making a contribution, and they have that opportunity on an ongoing basis to continue learning and developing. And so that's why it's so important for you, the owner, to have a vision that stretches not only you, but everyone on the team is stretched to achieve that vision, because that creates those opportunities for learning and opportunities for advancement. And now the final piece that I think is one of the biggest secrets to retaining your A players is how you personally show up as the leader of the company. And that means showing up from a place where you are non-judgmental. When challenges and problems arise, you avoid going down the judger pit, and instead you approach the situation from a mindset of curiosity. What can be learned here? How can we prevent this in the future? What would be a good outcome for all involved? Those are learner curiosity type questions. And they're very different from the judger questions. And judger questions look like, whose fault is this? Why does this keep happening? What's wrong with me? What's wrong with them? I think I should just give up. That's coming from a place of judger. And the challenge we all have as human beings is we are naturally wired to notice what's wrong in our environment. That's a survival mechanism. And we have to overcome that, because if we are constantly paying attention to what's wrong in the business and what's not working, we become that boss on patrol and we micromanage, and our team members, you'll see them almost tense up when you walk by because they're just waiting for what else are you going to criticize in them and in what they're doing. So when you become more aware of showing up every day from that place of curiosity and non-judgment, you're creating a safe, supported work environment just through your own mindset. And it's amazing the impact that will have on your team. So I hope what I've shared with you today has inspired you to really shift your focus to who are the A players on my team? How can I be more intentional about spending time with them and developing them? And I want to give you a couple of resources to help you build on this if this has inspired you. So the How to Hire the Best, the Entrepreneur's Ultimate Guide for Attracting Top Performing Team Members, is available on Amazon. This is a comprehensive book that goes into what it really takes as a small business owner to become an employer of choice for those A players that you want to attract to your team. There's a toolkit that's free, downloadable, that accompanies the book. You can get the toolkit at tapthepotential.com/toolkit. And then keep your eyes open for the next How to Hire the Best course and sign up. When you go through the How to Hire the Best course with us, you get the opportunity to build your A player attraction system, and you get my support and guidance in doing that. We have one coming up at the end of summer. You can check that out at tapthepotential.com/course.
Thank you for spending time with us today. Join our conversation in the Entrepreneurs Take Your Life Back Facebook community at tapthepotential.com/group. Share your aha moments from today's episode, ask me questions, and join in on the fun with your fellow entrepreneurs on the journey to designing sustainably profitable businesses that give you more time for what matters most and more money in your bank account than ever. And finally, share today's episode with a friend if you know a friend who would enjoy it. This is real life business. Keep your chin up, keep moving forward. You got this. If you've gotten value from today's show, don't forget to subscribe so you never miss an episode. And if you are a repeat listener of the podcast, know that we greatly appreciate you at Tap the Potential.
And to that end, I have a request. Please consider leaving us a review on whatever platform you're listening on. Our reviews help other entrepreneurs like you to find us. Be a part of our movement to help entrepreneurs take your life back from your business.